I can't believe it. 1 year old.
We never thought we'd get here. It took us 5 long years and thousands of dollars.
After a year trying to get pregnant, nothing was happening. So our doctor referred us to a fertility specialist.
And it was at that point where she was diagnosed with endometriosis, which is where her endometrial cells actually grow outside her uterus, and it caused her left fallopian tube to get completely blocked.
So the doctor recommended we try IUI, intrauterine insemination. But we didn't get pregnant after 3 rounds of that. Next, the doctor had us move on to IVF, where the eggs and sperm are combined in the lab and then transferred to the uterus. I had no idea how we were going to afford it. Insurance did not cover any of it.
So we took out a home equity line and prepaid for 3 cycles of IVF. We started taking all the medications, and we did get pregnant that first cycle, but then had a miscarriage.
We tried a second cycle, but we didn't get pregnant.
We also learned in this cycle that Patty was what they call a poor responder. She didn't produce as many eggs as you might expect from a woman her age. Our doctor recommended a blood test to check for genetic problems. This is where we found out that Patty was a carrier of an extremely rare genetic problem. It basically meant that chromosomes 10 and 13 from each parent were not matching up correctly.
What a disappointment and heartbreak this was. We were told the chances of having a baby were very, very low. And we had spent so much money. We took the next few months off and felt very depressed and just tried to find hope and get informed.
So we changed clinics, and our new doctor suggested a different protocol. He had us do 3 back-to-back cycles of IVF. He froze the embryos from the first 2 cycles, then later thawed them and mixed them with fresh embryos from the 3rd cycle. That way, we had a lot of embryos at the same stage at the same time. He then did PGD, pre-implantation genetic diagnosis, on all of the embryos at once to figure out which ones were normal.
At this point, we really needed the transfer to work, but we knew it could go either way.
We ended up with multiple embryos, however 90% were not viable. Of the 2 that were, 1 was male and 1 was female. And I remember the doctor put his odds on the female because she was starting to hatch, and he actually made the comment that the male embryo was growing very slowly. We were elated just to have 1 embryo, not to mention 2. The doctor transferred both, and we began to wait.
Then we got the phone call from the nurse. She said, "You guys are going to be parents." I was so happy, but I was still afraid. Are we going to lose this one?
At the first ultrasound, we saw 1 sac, and then 1 heartbeat, and it was normal.
At 12 weeks, we told everyone that we were going to have a baby. But that very night, I was doing the dishes and started gushing blood.
I thought, oh my God, for sure she's having a miscarriage. There was blood everywhere, clots, blood running down her legs, blood on the floor. It was horrible.
We called the doctor and he said, "Lie down. If it's a miscarriage, it's gonna happen no matter what you do."
We went to the specialist the next day, and it turned out her placenta had disattached in 1 little corner. But because she had been on a blood thinner to facilitate blood transfer between the embryo and the uterus, it created a huge blood flow. But the baby was fine.
There were no more scares after that, but I couldn't relax the whole time.
We took it day by day.
But we made it.
It's funny, our doctor was actually wrong about 1 thing, and that was the sex of the baby. Diego may have been a slow hatcher early on, but he's been unstoppable ever since.